Well, hi. Thanks for talking to me. Appreciate it. I'm looking forward to seeing the new one. I've seen the first two, but obviously not the new one. But to start out, why don't you go back to the beginning? Tell me how you got involved in the first Venom movie. I mean, I assume it was an audition, but just kind of talk about that experience a little bit.
Yeah, I think it was back in 2018. That's how far back. Yeah, and got the audition, went in there, and it was almost like yeah, I walked in the room and there were all these recognizable faces except me, and then I got adjusted three times by the casting director, and then so then of course you walked out of there and go, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that, I sucked, and then I guess a few days later, then I had the call back, and all they wanted me to do was improvise the ending. And the room and the casting office was so busy that day, and then of course like I couldn't find parking, and then I think I was like 5 minutes late, and then so I got all freaked out in my head, and all they wanted was to improvise the ending, and that was it. And
That's,
then I was done.
I was gonna say it was probably really surprising to get. I mean, this is it's Marvel, it's huge. What was kind of, I guess, as soon as you found out you got it, what was going through your head?
Well, first I was, of course, like, thank the universe, thank the God, thank the Lords, and then the panic set in. After it's like I get so excited, and then I get scared, then anxiety go on, and then the insecurity kicks in. That's how it feels
No,
every time.
no, I get that. So in this, what can you? I'm not sure what you're allowed to tell me, but what can you tell me about your role in this new one? It looks like you're dancing with Venom in the one picture. That's about. I know that at least.
It's the last dance,
Yeah, true.
and it's so well. When I read the script, the ending will shock you. I was I was so surprised by the ending, and I had to read it like several times to make sure I got it. I to make sure that it actually is what I read. It's registering in my head, and it's so different than the first two. I think y'all gonna be surprised, and I think y'all gonna love it.
That's cool. Now, let me ask you. Obviously, he's digital when he's turned into Venom. But how did you, if you going by the picture, like I said, I see you dance with him. How did they do that? I mean, was there somebody in a suit, or how did, because he's not there, so how did they do that?
Oh, they have. I had a dance partner who has the same. It was almost he was almost the same size as Venom, except and then he had to wear a hat that had a stick on it to show the height. So then that's where I would be looking. So and then instead of looking at his face, I have to look at this point on his head. I mean this stick on his head. Does that make sense?
No, yeah,
Yes.
at least you had somebody to dance with. I guess that makes it easy.
Oh yes, yes, I had someone to dance with, and then but the challenge was instead of looking at his face like you usually would when you're dancing with someone, I have to look beyond his face, and let's hope I did not forget. Let's hope I remember to look at the ball,
Say
the
little
stick ball.
say the
Yeah.
tennis balls or whatever on there. That's cool. Now, in the second movie, you turned into Venom. Was that any of that practical, or was that all digital? It's hard to tell, so I wasn't sure. Did they do?
It was digital.
Okay, so there was no makeup.
Yeah, it was digital, and then Tom was so nice. He I would imitate what he says, so then I could sound like Venom. And so,
What that was my other question. What's it been like working with Tom?
incredible. Like when I think the challenge about being an actor, you go to job, and then you're always working with new people. So then there's always that not the fear, like the when you first meet someone, it could be very uncomfortable. So back in 2018, I was really I was like so nervous to be working with Tom. And then so I was running lines, just facing the wall, just by myself. And then he comes up behind me, he taps me on the shoulder, and then he turns me around and he gave me a big hug. And then he says, "Hi, I'm Tom Hardy. We're in the scene together." And I was going, "Oh my God, he's so cool. I'm gonna be like cool, like I was trying to be cool." And I go, and then I couldn't even get any words out. You know what I said to him? I said, "Who?"
He probably knew you were nervous. I'm
I
sure.
go, who? And that's how cool I was. And because the way he introduced himself, he, first name and a last name, like I wouldn't know. And it just kind of set the environment for us to where I could just relax and just breathe. And that's so ever since then, it's been so easy just because of that first initial introduction that he did.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah, that was cool. It seems like he's a nice guy.
I
Um,
know, isn't it? I thought that was so cool.
good story to remember. So this time you're out of the store, you get a costume too. Well, that's got to be make it nice. I mean, not that it isn't nice, in the store, but it's something a little.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they let me out of the store. That dress was tailor made for me. So and I never had anything tailor made for me like that, where they measure every inch of your body. And thank God it was stretchy, because I said, please make it stretchy. So at least I could eat. So so I don't have to suck it in all the time.
No, but I was gonna say, I guess the biggest question is, did they let you keep it? Probably not, but
Girl, I torn that dress up. Please. Yeah, because no, it's girl, it's not in good shape. Because
okay.
I am not a graceful dancer. And I'm not a dancer at all. So yeah, it's not in good shape.
Did they give you dance lessons then? Since you
Oh yeah, they did. And the choreographer, Jennifer White, she also choreographed Barbie. So it's from the
oh,
same choreographer. Yeah. And she's working on Fantastic Four right now.
oh, that's really cool. So other
Yeah.
than dancing, is there anything else that you learned from just this whole experience? Not even just this movie necessarily, but anything that you learned throughout of it?
You know what I learned? I did learn something from Tom. Um, when we were in Vegas shooting the scene, and he it's always always awkward for me when somebody comes up to you and compliments you, and sometimes I don't know, like I get all tongue tied and try. I'm always trying to be cool, and it never comes out cool. So I should learn my lesson, but I have not learned that lesson. So then I saw Tom, um, when people were coming up to him like constantly, and he is just so nice about it. And I noticed he would like touch him on the shoulder and go, "Oh, what's your name?" And then he'll repeat their name and then say thank you. And his eyes never leave them. Like he was just so present, instead of like, because what I've seen people is they'll be walking and saying thank you, and then they're not even looking at him. And the way he showed his appreciation to his to everyone, that's what I've learned from him.
Has it made it easier when you meet the people, or do you still have a hard time with it though when they come up to
It's
you?
it's um it's it's kind of hard, because I so appreciate their kindness, and I just don't know what to say besides thank you. So now I'm gonna take I'm not, like, when I'm insecure, I just go, okay, thank you, bye, and I just start walking. But now I get like, to take the time and just look at them and say thank you, because I'm sure it's not easy for them to come up to me. And that's another thing what Tom taught me. He says, it's not easy for them to come up to you anyway. So you need to take the time and say thank you.
Yeah, they're probably happy no matter what, and they're worried about you the same way you are. That makes sense.
Yeah. So then I thought that was like very I go, duh, that's so thoughtful, So he's really, really thoughtful. He taught me a lot.
That's cool. So when you did the first movie, did they tell you that you were going to come back, or did you not find out until
Girl,
later?
I did not know anything. I didn't even know that it's a trilogy. And well, I was happy that they didn't kill me. I'm just,
There's that.
yeah, I go, oh, I'm not dead. Okay.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
so I don't know. I did not know anything.
Is it a lot? I mean, I'm sure it is. I'm just kind of curious how a lot different working on like a production. So, I mean, you talked about the dress, obviously, but so huge of a production versus like a little project. Is everything completely different, or it does it kind of, I guess, overall feel the same? Like, do you always feel like it's different? I'm just kind of curious.
I get you. With a big production, there is um like I think if you didn't have the budget, they would not be able to hire someone to help me learn how to dance.
Mhm.
And then so if it's a smaller budget, I probably have to go watch YouTube and then do it myself. So the guidance is more. There's more people there to help you and walk you through the steps. And then with lower budget, sometimes you're swimming in the dark, so you don't really actually where you're going until you hit a wall, and then I have to go try to fix it myself.
Yeah, well, that's cool. That makes it easier, I'm sure, if they give you
Oh
what.
yes, it makes it so easy. Yeah. And then like I just show up. I just all I have to do is just show up on set and make sure I've done my part, and they'll take care of the rest. And you are pampered. I was very pampered.
Very cool. So let me ask you, I was going to say, what's your dream role after this? A lot of times I hear people say, I want to be in a Marvel movie. That's not really, you can't say that, but what would you like to do after this? Like, what is kind of your goal with acting?
That's such a great question. I wish I had thought that far. Um, my goal would be, right now it's just so competitive in this world that I'm in. Did you know like it's 1 out of 50 auditions you book one job? So that means I have to go on 50 job interviews in order to land one job. Now, so what would be so the first instinct I want to say is just give me any jobs, and because now I'm back looking for another job. So the dream role would be I guess it'd be a sitcom. Would be a live action sitcom with real audience. Yeah, with audience sitting there watching me every second.
Oh, that sounds,
Almost like theater. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I was going to say 1 out of 50, but I'm sure they're not 1 out of 50 is this kind of movie. So you got lucky with that. How
I know.
is
I
I mean, I'm
know.
assuming since this, your life's changed a lot then, because you're recognized. I mean, it's a big film. What's, I guess, the main thing that's changed about your life other than being recognized? What else has changed for you since being in these films?
Well, financially it's changed.
Oh yeah.
My finances. And other than that, I'm still the same. What is I learned to be, I guess, humble, and because it it is so rare, because like only 1% of the actors are actually working, and you could actually make a living. And because of this movie, I am able to do that. And and then when I think about that, then the anxiety kicks in for some reason. Then I get all nervous and go, "Oh my gosh, I hope this lasts." Because and Sony has been very kind to me, so that has changed. I don't have to worry about money.
Well, that's always a good thing. Um,
Yeah.
in this film, was there anything other than dancing? You told me about dancing, but was there anything else that you found difficult that you had to do? I don't know, since I haven't seen it, it's kind of hard to ask specifics, but was there anything else?
Just sitting down in that dress, girl. Because there's a high slit, and then when I was so when Tom and I was sitting down talking in the movie, and then I said, Tom, I am so sorry, but I have to flash you because of this dress, but I had tights underneath, and then and then he said the sweetest thing. He goes, just do you. Don't worry about it. Just do you.
As long as it's not on film, you're okay,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, because it was just from the waist up, but then from the waist down, I go, every time I sit down, the dress just go, whoop. It
Yeah,
just falls right open.
that's not good, but I guess it probably makes it easier to move if there's a slit. So I
Right.
want to ask
Yeah,
you one
that's
more
true.
thing. From what I could gather online, you didn't start out in acting. You were a pharmacist. Is that
Yeah.
then how did
Yeah.
you go from that to, I mean, what made you, I'm assuming you, at some point you auditioned, but what made you want to do that? How did you get to
Because
that point?
when I was a sophomore in college, and as an Asian, we're all pre-med, pre-something, pre-med, pre-law. And so I was pre-med, and then I met a girl in the cafeteria, and she was telling me that her major was theater, and I didn't even know there was such a thing. I go, well, that is really cool. I go, that sounds like really fun, better than what I'm doing, and taking physics, chemistry, calculus. So then I call my parents, go, hey, guess what I want? I finally figured it out. And they mm, they were not happy. And so what they said was as long as I finish college with a doctoral degree, they don't care what kind of doctoral degree, MD, PhD, whatever D, as long as there's a D, and then I could do whatever I want afterwards. And so that's what I did. After college, I went around, took the state board in New York, in California, and then I started off in New York because at that time they were telling me, oh, you know what? It's more prestigious to come out from New York as an actor and then move to LA. So that's what I did.
Yeah, well, it worked at any rate. You got lucky and it worked. So that's
Yeah.
great. All right. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I wish I could have seen it ahead of time. That would have been nice.
I know, right?
You know, these kind of movies usually you can't anyway, but it would have been nice. But I will go see it once I get a
Oh,
chance.
thank you so much.
These
Thank
are
you.
funny. I know as soon as she sent me the email, I'm like, I know who she is. I think everybody knows who you are if you see these movies. It's great. So thank you for your
Thank
time.
you.
I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. You too. Bye.